We've partnered with Callegas and are currently offering a series of classes oriented towards drip irrigation at their facility on Olson Road in Thousand Oaks. They'll be held the second Saturday of each month, June through September. And a registered participant will actually receive a small drip irrigation kit, a starter kit that they can walk away from the class with and maybe feel a little bit more comfortable. The classes run from 9 to 11. We'll cover some of the basics of irrigation, and then we'll have a hands-on portion where they actually get to assemble some of the parts that they might find useful in their own gardens, in their own landscaping.
So it's actually in Callega's best interest to get people working this way, right?
Very much so. They're still looking to reduce water consumption in their service area. They look at the world, I think, pretty much the same way that I do. Even if we have enough water today, we'll have to share that water with more people tomorrow. It's a matter of cost and supply. And droughts come and go, but people only seem to come. So we're looking to help folks out there that are intimidated by drip irrigation. It's really a simple system, and if we can get them over the hump and into doing their landscapes with drip, then everyone wins. This is what we would refer to, I think, as a typical installation for a hose bib to a drip irrigation system. We're not going to deal with what comes after the basic connection, but this is any hose bib in your yard.
Okay, this is how you get it out of the wall and onto the plants.
That's right. We've got the hose bib in the yard. In order to protect the integrity of your system, we want what's called a check valve or a backflow preventer. If something were to happen, you don't want the water from your irrigation system flowing back into your household water.
Does that actually happen?
It can, and therefore we recommend. I can't say that it's ever happened to me, but it certainly can happen, and as a result, we recommend a check valve or backflow preventer. They're a relatively inexpensive device, and it just takes away the worry.
Okay, and do housing codes require one of these?
Not a good question.
It's a good idea.
It's a very good idea, and I suspect actually most housing codes do require backflow preventers in landscape irrigation.
Okay, are these things expensive again? It looks easy to install.
We're talking about roughly $10. A little bit less, actually. And they make a plastic version. This one's brass. They make a plastic version that's probably half that. So again, the components are not terribly expensive. If you have a large yard, obviously you're going to spend a little bit more money than if you have a small patio. But the components are not terribly expensive, and there's a few of them that you really should have. So spend the $4 to $9 on a backflow preventer of some type. This is called a check valve.
I see. It's certainly worth the expense as opposed to getting a mouthful of Vitagrow or...
Exactly right.
Okay.
And this is simply a device to convert the threading on that end to this, and and this is also available in plastic, again for probably about $1. And
so there's actually two different types of pipe threads, and one will not work with the other.
That's absolutely true. You can't use a hose and pipe thread together without dealing with the conversion in between.
Okay.
This is a basic filter and pressure regulator.
Oh, it's all built into one?
It's all built into one. This device has a filter in it, comes apart. It'll keep some of the larger sediment pieces out of your system, the little grains of sand and whatnot that might come through from your water purveyor.
Is that a problem, really? I thought the water was supposed to be clean.
Well, it is clean, but it's never perfect. And certainly of all of these parts, this is actually the most expensive. It's probably about $15 including the pressure regulator. Even if you leave out the filter, you still need to spend the $6 or $7 on the pressure regulator. Drip irrigation systems are low pressure systems. So they're not like the sprinklers in your lawn. You need to keep the pressure down around 30 pounds per square inch. And that's what another half of this device does. So you have the filter, you have the pressure regulator, and then the very last piece is simply the part that converts it from what you might call plumbing fixtures to the drip irrigation portion. And normally you would have a poly hose coming out of this fitting and leading off to your various emitters and whatever it is that you've put in your system.
Okay, so the poly hose is that black plastic hose.
Exactly, the flexible black plastic hose that comes highly recommended these days. It's so much easier to deal with than the rigid pipe PVC that we used to have to do all of our gardening irrigation with. It comes in a variety of sizes. It is just a very flexible product that will allow you to do just about anything you can think of.
What's the most common question you get at presentations like the one we had today?
Besides the obvious, is this too complicated for me? I think probably the more common questions are, what parts do I use? And because it's like anything new in this day and age, there are literally hundreds of types of emitters, hundreds of types of various connectors that you can use in your system. It looks complicated, it's really not. You can start with one or two different types of emitters that you feel comfortable with. You can start with a given size of poly hose, some spaghetti tubing is commonly called, and with just 4 or 5 components, you can take care of a raised bed of vegetables. You can take care of a bunch of shrubbery. You can take care of pretty much anything but a lawn. There are drip irrigation systems for lawns, but that's a different topic, very different topic. If you're putting in a new lawn, it's certainly something worth looking at, but in our typical presentation, we don't deal with lawns. It's simply everything else.
Okay, so you're telling people you can do this and it's worth it.
Absolutely true. It's really not that difficult.
No, thank you, Harry, for your time today, for the presentation this morning. I'm sure there are a lot of people that are going to be interested in this, particularly if the drought comes back.
I think it's still there, so I think that we still need, regardless of how you want to divvy up the water we're not going to have enough tomorrow.
Thank you.
You're welcome.